Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment I've all been waiting for. It's the KTM 1290 Super Duke R. Oh yeah. Now this bike is almost pretty much stock, so no worries there. There's this weird feeling because this bike stands so straight up on the kickstand that like you're gonna tip the bike over when you get on. At least it was for me when I sat on it and when I'm sitting on it now. So he doesn't want me to roll it out there. We're good. We're good. Oh, stoplight right away. Okay, we got the directions here. Oh, it's kind of in a weird place, but I'm gonna turn right on Rankston. All right. Still got the blinker on. Got to cancel that. All right, so the shifter is kind of in a weird place, slightly. I really kind of have to reach back, but this ride position is very comfortable, at least for me. Let's get ahead of this guy. I don't know what he's doing. Now, the ride height on this bike is 32.9 inches, so it's up high, especially for a shorter guy like me at 5'6", about a 30-inch inseam. But I wear a 10.5 shoe, and I can tiptoe it just fine, and the bike does not feel top heavy at all. You know, because of this gas tank, it really makes you feel like you're sitting in this bike and not up above it. Now the weird thing about the shifter peg is that it's small, so when I reach back to get it, it feels like it's not there. But I think that that's just one of those things you got to get used to. But we are in road mode, or street mode, which is like the normal mode. There's sport mode, and there's rain. 3 different ride modes. The suspension on this bike, I think, is fully adjustable here. And I hope this is where I'm turning right on. Nope. Gotta go a little further. Oh, there's a car with I think that's a map car. Cool. But all the gauges and the instrumentation here on the front are very visible. I got a full-faced helmet here, and I can see everything just fine. And suspension is nice. You know, we're on a nice road here, but it is a little bit bumpy for one of these roads. But for a sportier bike, you know, it's not too bad. I would say that I'm leaned forward a little bit more than I'd like to on a Sport Naked. I rode the Triumph Street Triple, the RS, in 2018. This is the 2015 KTM Super Duke R. So I don't know if the ride position is different on that bike, but we've got a nice tuck here. I think maybe for a taller person, their knees would come up right nicely on the side of the tank here, but for a shorter person, it's not too high on this tank. But again, it's this nice feeling where I'm sitting in this bike and not on top of it. Instills a lot of confidence. Again, like I said, it's not top heavy at all. What I like about this bike is that it has this daytime running light. It's like an LED light above the regular headlight, just making you more visible during the day. And it's kind of just a unique styling point. I like it. But there's a lot of uniqueness about this bike that I like. Oh, and this is 25 here. I gotta be careful, because we're not like on a group ride or anything here where I feel like maybe the police would be a little more lenient with a group. But so we'll be careful. Oh, you know what? I turned right. That was the problem. I was supposed to turn left out of here. Let's flip this around. That was the problem. Oh, the sound from this exhaust is nice. And this is just the stock exhaust. The guy at the BMW place is probably like, dude, I told you to turn left. So we're going back. Just so he doesn't think that there's anything fishy going on. we can get back on this route on this piece of paper that he mounted to the gas tank. When I say mount, he taped it. So this is the standard seat on this bike. I know it comes with a KTM Power Sports comfort seat. It doesn't come with it, I'm sorry, but you can add that on. I'm gonna adjust these mirrors so I can actually see out of them. There we go. But very nice mirrors. I like the shape of these mirrors because they're very angular, like the rest of the styling on this bike. You know, some people like to put the bar end mirrors on, and that's cool. But for me, I just like the way that it really goes with the styling of the bike. So we're gonna get back and find Ranger Road. Yeah, see, there's just a learning curve with this shifter peg. Now that I've gone just a little bit on this bike, it's easy to find. But we got ABS standard on this bike, and oh, the brakes are really grippy, so that's nice. That does worry me a little bit though, you know, once we get up to speed and I gotta brake hard because you're leaning forward. I don't want to go up and over. That would be bad. Oh, that's bumpy. Yeah, so I mean, the Triumph Street Triple, and I'm just comparing it because that was the last sport bike that I rode, sport naked, definitely has a cushier response to the bumpy road. But this bike is built for performance and not necessarily comfort, so that might be the reason for that. San Antonio, so that's where I want to end up on. That's where I'm going to come back on the road on. So while we're waiting at this light, right there, right about that in the middle is where you feel that friction zone coming on this bike. The throttle is very responsive, but in road mode or street mode, whatever it is that we're in, whatever mode that we're in right now, it's very linear power. I mean, obviously, when I give it a good twist, it's a sport bike, so it's gonna go, but it's not overwhelming, it's not intimidating. Whoa, heads up, buddy. And we're just gonna kind of go with the flow of traffic there. Just giving them a wave to let them know I'm going in the right direction now. And amazingly, right here on the right, where you can see J&M, that's where I bought my Fat Bob. So I'm all the way out here in Mountain View and made it just down the street from where I bought my last bike. So wouldn't that be awesome to just come back out here and get my next bike? So there's a lot to like so far about the ride on this bike. It's nice and smooth. You know, the suspension is adjustable, so I guess if I wanted a little less tight of a ride, a little less, you know, feeling that in the arms and in the wrists when we're riding, you know, I could probably adjust the suspension like that. It looks like we can roll these bars back maybe a little bit so that I don't have to stretch so far with the hand to get this clutch lever. But I mean, it's not bad. All right. Oh, that was the street I was supposed to turn on. This is a small circle. Okay, we're gonna turn into this parking lot here. And then Central. All right. Nobody coming? Good. It's an interesting mask on that, buddy. All right. Oh yeah. Now, I mean, I can tell you already that I would enjoy riding this bike. Oh wait, you know what? I was supposed to turn right. They're all right turns. You idiot. We're getting, oh, so slow maneuvers. That was not difficult. My wife was saying how it seems like the handlebars are really close to the tank. But, you know, that U-turn was pretty effortless. And we've had to make two. All right. So, like I was saying, this is it says the 1290, but this is actually a 1301 cubic inch V-twin, liquid cooled engine, and it is, you know, just going from stoplight to stoplight, I can feel the heat from the engine already. You know, when I'm like this standing at a stoplight, I can't really feel it on my legs, but when I got my feet up, I can actually feel the heat in the feet. All right, so we're making all right turns now. Remember, we're gonna turn on Central Expressway. All right. And he said I could make this loop twice, so we're gonna milk this thing for all it's worth. So we're going through the modes here. There we go. Neutral, set. Oh no, we've got to go toggle through this way. Street mode. We're in street mode. So there's rain and sport. You can actually set the ABS to different. You can turn it off, and you can change the different modes on the ABS. So really customizable electronics. You know, if you're a little leery of electronics on your motorcycle because you're afraid that the electronics go out, you know, what's the bike going to do? But I think we're at a good place here in time for electronics to be pretty safe and pretty reliable. But, you know, we're getting an idea of how this would be to ride around town. And this is just comfortable. I can sit up a little bit. I have longer arms for 5'6". You know, my arm span's about 5'10". So, you know, this is a comfortable ride. I don't feel like there's putting too much weight on my wrists and on my hands. So that's nice to know. And obviously, once we get up to speed here a little bit, we'll get an idea of how it'll feel at speed. Because I know from my experience of riding sport bikes, once you get up to speed, even if you feel like you're leaning over a bit, that pressure goes away considerably. But I like the feel of this bike. You know, there was talk when I've read reviews and listened to reviews and watched reviews of this bike that this is it right here. This is where we're turning right. That you know, that the vibration on this bike was considerable, and different from a sport bike, but from a Harley, riding a Harley, and definitely from my Fat Bob, the vibration is just fine. And actually, you know, coming over from my Fat Bob, this will be a nice transition for me to still have that vibration in the feet and in the hands here. All right. Woo! Yeah, that's nice. I don't know what the speed limit is here, so I don't want to get too fast, and you never know who's lying in wait. But yeah, this is nice. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's got some pep. All right, I don't think this is the street. Oh, that's what we want, Bayshore Freeway. All right, and then we're gonna get back off. Oh, maybe I missed it again. And not knowing the area is putting a cramp in this test ride. I apologize. Oh, that's a red light. Oh, brake test. Yeah, that was nice, and that wasn't too intimidating. You know what? Because I was afraid, because of how grippy the brakes felt at the beginning, about how it would be when I had to stop quickly. No, I didn't feel like the back wheel was going to come up, or I was going to get tossed over the edge. So that was nice. All right, we're going to get on San Antonio Road here like we were supposed to. Oh, and I probably could have made that, but I'm not going to test it. We'll definitely test this one, though. Now, when he said car lot, I wonder if he meant parking lot. Because I didn't really see a car lot there. so now we're gonna make our way back to Old Middlefield, and then we'll make that loop one more time. All right. So impressions so far. I'm really enjoying this bike, I gotta say. The S1000R and the Z900 have a lot to live up to, because I mean, if I had 13 grand out the door to just drop, I'd leave with this bike. Of course, then my car would be stuck here, so you know, it's details. So this is not the one we want. We want regular Middlefield, not old we want Old Middlefield, not regular Middlefield. All right. So now that we know where we're going, this next lap should be much cleaner. No turning around. But you know what's nice about those turnarounds is that I get an idea of, once we slow down and having to make slow speed maneuvers, how this bike feels. And I was super confident on this. The balance is really good. Like I said, it doesn't feel top heavy, even for a tall bike. Like I said, the seat height is 32.9, almost 33 inches. And for a shorter guy, even though the seat height is really high, you know, it doesn't feel like a top heavy bike. Yeah, these mirrors are great. Brakes are great. Acceleration's great. You know, power can be linear as long as you're easy on the throttle. But if you need that power, obviously it's there. And if you're in the area, CalMoto, check them out. Allow me to do this test ride. You know, this isn't a pleasure ride. This is a bike I'm considering purchasing, so again, stoplight to stoplight here, I can feel that heat on my left leg. And it's just a different feeling. I mean, I'm not used to feeling any heat on the left leg. Usually, if anything, that's on the right leg because of the exhaust. But no, I mean, it's not bad at all. It's nothing even to even complain about. And I wouldn't even say, if you were a person that was uncomfortable with heat coming off your bike, I wouldn't even say it's anything to worry about. But like I said, this stock exhaust sounds really nice. I know there's you know, you've got your selection of exhaust, but the ones that I've seen that have switched them out and put the Akrapovic, and yeah, something I might consider if this ends up being my bike. Is this Old Middlefield? Nope. Now that's a cool campus right there. Oh, I was supposed to go on Middlefield. We're gonna turn right here, and we're gonna try and find our way back. I kind of want to just cut through this parking lot, but we can wait. This guy's not turning right, so I can slide on over. Stop and go. Wait for me, buddy. Thank you. Oh no, dude. Come on. We're gonna see if Independence Avenue will get us back to Middlefield. You know, really, because the map makes it look like it's bigger. The lap is a little bit bigger than it actually is, and I think that's the problem I'm having. This isn't my fault. Oh jeez. So we've talked about wheelies before on this channel, and I can tell you this bike, I've heard, is just a wheelie machine. And if this was my bike, I still don't know if I would do a wheelie. Again, I wouldn't say that I'm chicken, but to me it's just, you know, it's not the skill of doing it or that I'm intimidated from doing it. It's that, you know, how much money I spent on this bike. I'm not willing to risk that. It's just not something I'm willing to do. Oh, I got my blinker on still. Not self-canceling, FYI. I gotta be approaching Middlefield Road now. See, we're turning heads already, and that's something that I've missed. I love my fat bob, but it's not a head turner. Please be old middle field. And yes, we're back. All right, lap number 2. We're gonna get it this time. We're gonna do this without having to turn around. All right, so I'm going way too fast for this road. And, you know, this wasn't a matter of me trying to go too fast or wanting to go fast. But, I mean, obviously I do want to go fast, but this isn't my bike and this isn't my, my town. But this bike just wants to go fast. I mean, second gear and we're already almost to 40 miles an hour, just like nothing. But I mean, this is no 600 or 750 cc bike. This is a 1300 V-twin, and it's just so sporty. It's going to be hard to top this, and hopefully we can get back in time and head on over to the next place to ride the S1000R today, to really get a nice you know, feeling of, okay, I rode the KTM, now I want to ride the BMW. But let's see how really easy to find neutral. You know, just that half click up. Some bikes it's easier than others, but this one's really easy. I mean, you have the gear here, and you also have the green end to indicate that you're in neutral. And everything, all the instrumentation. I mean, obviously the new KTMs have a nice, really bright, I don't know if it's TFT or LED screen or LCD screen, but this is just fine. I'm sure it's backlit when it's night, so not a lot not to like about this bike. That was a terrible statement. Not a lot not to like about this bike. I like it, in other words. But yeah, it's so easy to go fast on this bike. And again, this isn't a matter of me wanting to go over the speed limit. This is just a matter of how fast this bike wants to go, how it feels when you're going at speed, because we're going 44. I feel like no wind I don't feel like I'm fighting the wind at all. And you know, we're only going 42, so that's not really to say anything, but I've heard a lot about the wind really affecting you on this bike as opposed to other sport bikes and sport naked bikes. And I don't agree with that just yet. We'll see how it feels. And it's still, I mean, it's super quiet in the helmet, which is nice because, right, because what you're hearing is a lot more of the bike. And oh, see, should have just went through the parking lot on this one. So what you're hearing is a lot more of the bike, and it's easier to hear me without me having to feel like I've got to yell at you guys. So I bet that's nice for you. So the clutch is kind of tight, but this bike only has 1,400 miles on it. So this is as close to new as you're going to get, especially on a 2015. This bike is so clean. You know, it's barely been ridden. I'm not sure when you find bikes like this what the deal is with these bikes. But let's see, we've got the bright trigger right here, and I'm not going to mess with that because I don't want to throw anybody off that's behind me, but that's where the brights would be. And you've got all these buttons here to toggle through your display here on the left, and your horn, and again just the standard turn signals here on the left. Hence on, off, and ignition. There's not a lot to the buttons on this, and there's not a lot to the display. But I mean, even though there's not a lot, the display doesn't look like anything special. You've got a lot to do here. So very nice. And you know, we've been on this bike for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, and the seat felt hard at the beginning, but it's nice. It's not so bad. Oh yeah. All right. Well, we know where the benchmark is. We know where the baseline is for what we're looking for in our new bike. This baby, ooh, very nice. It's going to be hard to dethrone this, but at the same time, as I'm saying that, I will say this. I will say that even though it's going to be difficult to dethrone this, because I love this bike already, and I love the bike on paper, I love the bike online, it's not a cheap bike. It's got a premium, and that's going to be factored into the decision. So as much as I love this bike, this might be a next bike. We'll have to have a talk, a nice frank talk with my wife, that one gal, and we'll go from there. It's hard to tell about cornering or about riding this bike, because I don't really know these roads very well. But I mean, obviously it feels really nice in the turns. Oops, did I just turn the brights on? I don't think I did. That was about as much as I leaned it over, and that felt really good. And this would just be a matter of, you know, actually getting the bike and then taking it out into some mountain roads or some canyon roads and really getting into those lanes. But man, it is super confident, super comfortable. And again, like I said, I haven't even put it in sport mode to get an idea of how that's going to feel. But just thinking about it gets my heart racing a little bit, because this is just a fun bike. Man, how did I not know about you sooner, KTM? So if you're interested more on the actual specs of this motorcycle, I will have those in the description for you, because we are coming here towards the end of the ride. So if you're looking for more specs on the bike, click the link in the description. You'll go straight to either KTM or just a site that still has the specs up, so that you can take a look at that. Oh, is this my road right here? It is my road. We're gonna cut. Cutter. Right, did you ever do that in elementary school? Cutter. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. So yeah, this bike is so not intimidating. You know, when you look at this bike and the specs, you might be, I mean, this bike is listed at 177 horsepower, and that in itself can seem really intimidating, but it just, it's not like that. It doesn't, obviously I haven't put this in sport mode to really find out how that 177 horsepower feels, but you know, it's more approachable than you would think. All right, guys, here's my stop. I've enjoyed this thoroughly. You know how I feel about this, but what I want you to do now is like and subscribe. All right, guys, this is that one guy on his possible new bike, letting you know that if you're riding, be safe, and if you're not riding, get riding. Hi, guys, I am out.